tired of people saying that loops are a bad thing. I'm tired of people demonizing tools of music production. Oh my gosh, don't use loops. Stop. It's a tool in making music. Don't ever let somebody tell you using loops is a bad thing. Making music is making music. It doesn't matter how you do it. Yo, I'm out here in Balboa Park trying to ride this scooter. There is a common misconception that free sample packs are fake music production. And if you use sample packs or use free loop kits, you're not really a producer, you're not really making music. I'm here to debate that stance. So 2 days ago, I posted a video on my channel of me making a beat in silence with just my phone. Now, a couple of people had something to say about this video, basically claiming that I was not really making music or making beats because I was using loops, and they're saying you're copy and pasting. Let me read the comments. So one particular individual left a comment and said, I always prefer to see producers themselves compiling instead of copy-paste samples. And then someone else responded, yeah, I'm not sure if this was making music or copy pasting loops into GarageBand. It still sounds good, don't get me wrong. They're trying to sugarcoat what you're saying, backhanded compliment. Fine, if you don't like loops, you don't like loops. This is where I have a problem with people who think loops are bad. So I basically explained to the individual that this video is not entirely copied and pasted audio from random files to compile a song that I didn't create. I used the loops as a means of inspiration to start an idea for a song, to build on the foundation of that and create my own piece of work. That is the entire purpose of a loop, and that's what I demonstrated in the video. But of course, people are going to gloss over the facts to support their argument. I was literally playing notes in the piano on my screen. If I'm not sadly mistaken, that's not copy and pasting. I was composing with my own bare hands on the piano in the app. Now that I got that frustration part out of the way, let's talk about why loops are not inherently bad and why they should be used by musicians, especially starting out, and how they can completely change your production workflow. So you see, the people in my videos are claiming that if you don't directly create everything in your music by yourself or compose it on your own, then you are not a real musician, you're not making real beats. They're saying basically it's lazy beat making. That couldn't be further from the truth, but you can tell how much these guys believe this by the way that they say, absolutely bro, in the comments. I'm not here for that. Let me tell you why. See, because they like to make the argument that if you are utilizing someone else's talents in playing a particular instrument, for instance, a person who plays strings or a piano, and it's pre-recorded, that you are somehow not a good beat maker because you're using this stuff and you're not playing it directly yourself. Somehow it's not professional, or so they claim. Well, let me show you a bunch of professionals that have actually used exactly this to create their music. Looping started way back in the DJ times when people used to take other people's songs, sample it, and put it in their DJ mixes, and then eventually that evolved into making beats, putting beats on top of records, mixing records together.
Can't touch this.
Different things like this. But again, not professional, right? And then you evolve from that in the early stages of DJing and producing to people like Kanye West, sampling his entire career.
For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky.
To people who have produced for Demi Lovato using loops in things like Splice.
So I pulled up an 808 that I got off of the Splice website. Splice website. I'm pretty sure that there's producers like sitting back cringing. And I don't think it should be that way because I think that the art would be a lot better.
A whole bunch of other musicians who have produced for Drake.
The song really and truly started with this guitar melody played by Alan Ritter. It was actually like way slower. It was like more like 76. And it was pitched down, so it was like.
But again, it's not professional. In fact, let me show you all of the examples of the people who have used looping and sounds and samples to build their entire careers and make even Grammy nominated and winning songs.
You know that excitement when you get some new sounds and stuff, like you just want to go test it out or just see what creativity you can come up with. Cheat codes on top of cheat codes, like just be experimenting like with like the little loops and like the percussions and stuff though. Like there's a lot of things you can do. Like you stretch it out real long, you can make it like real slow.
When I use loops, it's important that they sound like me. There's something about manipulating it and just making it my own. Let me show you how this works.
Today we're going to start with some sounds and hooks. Okay, you see, in order to start any type of musical composition, you need source material. Whether that comes from a loop, a sample, or something that you create yourself, or something that your friends play for you, you need source material to start that music. And then you compose based on that source material. That's what a musical composition is. Now, in fact, the people in question claimed that because I used loops in my musical composition, that now all of a sudden it cannot be classified as a musical creation or an original composition. But that's not true. Let's look up the definition of what a composition actually is. So the dictionary literally states that a composition is the nature of something's ingredients or constituents, the way in which a whole or mixture is made up. Then it gives you the thesaurus and all the other words that you can use to further explain what a composition is, such as makeup, constitution, configuration, structure, formation, different things like this. With that being said, loops are literally just another ingredient to the composition as a whole. It is not to be separated from the rest of them. It's the same thing as using a plugin, adding vocals, asking your friend to come play something for you. It's just ingredients to making the bigger picture, which is your musical composition, your song. So using loops to make beats is still making beats. It doesn't matter if you use somebody else's work. It's literally there for that purpose. Loop packs are created to help people, especially beginners, to start creating work when they don't have the ability to do that themselves. But that doesn't mean that you can just use them however you want to. You still have to use them properly and together in order to make something that actually sounds decent. So anybody who can make a beat out of loops and make it sound good, I can argue, is still a musician, because you have to have the ear for that stuff. So let's talk about the purpose of using loops in the first place. They serve as a way to generate ideas and facilitate creativity and growth. So if you're having a writer's block, a producer's block, you can't figure out how to get out of that funk, you can't think of any ideas, you go to a loop pack, you slap it in there, and you build around the beat because you just got inspired by some brand new sounds that you found. It's another tool for making music, just like auto-tune and plugins and things like that. So literally, it's another thing to add to your arsenal to be able to use if you need it. And the perks of being able to use loops in your music production are things like if you are not able to play an instrument, if you don't have the ability to play a saxophone, or you don't have the wherewithal to learn how to play a piano, you can use a loop to further your ideas or get somebody else to play a loop for you to put into your songs. There's nothing wrong with that. It's literally the same thing as asking one of your friends to come over and record a quick drum bass line or a guitar loop for you to use in your next song, except you don't know the person that you're borrowing the loop from because it's a loop pack. You bought it from some online store. But it's the same thing as asking your friend to do it. So what makes that a bad thing? It's like having ghost collaborations. You're collaborating with people that you have never met in your life, but it's still somebody helping you to create your music and get your point across musically. It's also very good if you're just getting started in music production. If you don't have any knowledge on music theory, you've never played an instrument in your life, you've never opened up a DAW in your life, you don't know anything about producing, loops can help you build your credibility, your creativity, and your knowledge about making music by starting you off with the basics and the bare minimum to make a beat. In fact, that is exactly how I got started in beat making. Before I had the DAW, before I had all these crazy sounds, before I was able to play the piano like I was able to play now, I used to go in and sample drum loops from Kanye West, from Timbaland, sample piano loops from jazz songs and things like that, and Frankenstein them together to make my own creations, if you will. I used to flip samples, I used to put all these things into one composition until I found something that I was happy to have. But I mean, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be the producer that I am now, because that's literally how I got started. We're just having fun. Making music composed entirely by you is a great thing, yes, don't get me wrong, but also it is very complicated. And when you just want to have fun and spark some creativity, spark a flame in you, sometimes just throwing a loop into your program or messing around with the loops and launch pads and things like that can help bring out other ideas that you have hiding deep beneath because you don't have the spark to light the flame. So it's not lazy beat making, it's literally how you give yourself creativity. Now, you do run the risk of becoming a lazy musician if you use loops outside of what they're supposed to be used as, which is a spice on top of your work, not a crutch. In other words, it would be something like lazy beat making with Siri. Hey Siri, what's 1,000,000 to the 10th power?
1,000,000 raised to the 10th power is 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,0
So whether it's splice or sounds or arcade, a sample pack, a song you want to sample, using loops is not necessarily a bad thing unless you abuse it or you don't know what you're doing. I'm tired of people saying that loops are a bad thing. I'm tired of people demonizing tools of music production. People who demonize auto-tune, for instance. Auto-tune is bad because it's basically singing for you. Oh my gosh, don't use loops. Stop. It's a tool in making music, and I think they should be utilized, especially when you're having a drought and you need some help creating. People, man. So with all that being said, don't ever let somebody tell you that using loops is a bad thing. Don't let them tell you you're not a real producer for using loops. Don't let them tell you that your musical compositions are not legitimate musical compositions because you use looped content or samples. Making music is making music. It doesn't matter how you do it. And that's the tea. There's my beautiful car. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cook in here. Thank God for old t-shirts, huh? Whoa, my face is dirty. The thing I fear the most about being in the sun, coming out when it's blazing hot like this, is butt sweat. Butt sweat is an epidemic that I struggle from. It's a disease that needs to stop. If I sit down for too long and I get up, it's gonna be a giant sweat patch right down my butt crack. Super embarrassing. I don't know if I currently have one. That's why I'm leaving right now. Let's go home, guys.